Hello and welcome to Hoopty Home Haircuts 101. I'm going to hopefully teach you how to cut a man's hair, in this case a boy's hair, but same idea. Use the same techniques. This is a boy. So what you'll need are clippers. Hopefully you have those. That's really the most important. And then a comb and scissors.
A trash can.
And a trash can. And scissors. I have professional shears, but I would imagine this would work with home scissors. And then a water bottle. So gray here, we're going to start with the number 2 on the guard. That's really the most common guard that men like. So we're going to start in the back here. If you want to come on over. And we're going to go to about this, right kind of on the ridge in the back of his head, and then follow that same line around. So get in there, go up and scoop. Scoop.
Don't you usually do him in one?
And I do so in the summer sometimes, but going with the 2 today. Gray has a kind of a hard neckline because he has this ridge here and these 2 ridges here, so it's kind of hard to get in here, and his hair grows in weird directions. So we'll have to clean that up at the end with a comb and smaller clip trimmers. Put it to the side.
Or I can move over there.
So we're going to do the same thing on the sides, just follow that same line around.
This is going to be better, by the way.
Okay, other side. Look up for me. There you go. Not all the way. Yeah. So I'm not going too high. I'm not going up to where the fade will be, because the fade will take it higher. So kind of go right below where you eventually want it to end up.
If you're too high, it'll look like a Marine or something. If you're not, well, if you want that look, sure.
I'm actually going to take the back a little bit higher than when I started. It's a little bit too low for the sides. Okay. Now you're going to grab your water bottle and your comb and make it rain. Squirt them in the face if they've been bad. Let's have him flip around. Cut film on this side so you have better lighting. Great face.
Turn around, bud.
Then you come over here. Okay, look up for me. So where I like to start is with the bangs, and kind of setting the overall length that I want for the whole top of the head. And I just give him a good old Jim Carrey Dumb and Dumber cut right here. He has a cowlick right here, so I'm going to leave that a little bit longer on this side. Sometimes I whack it off, and that's fine too. It's,
Avoid Christmas.
So set the length. So what you're going to do now is comb this hair up and pinch it with your other hand between your second and third fingers. This takes a lot of practice, but do that. And then this extra thumb you have here, that's where you're going to hold your comb with. And then you can see I have a guide here. This short one is what I cut. And so that's where I'm going to use to cut all of this off too. And then I'm just going to do that same thing to the back of his head. So comb and pinch between your fingers. Cut with your right hand. So that was the middle row. Now I'm going to go slightly, maybe just a half an inch over and start a new row. We have our guide here. Again, cut that amount off.
You pulled off half of one of my hairs.
It's drying out on me, so I need to grab some more water.
You pulled one of my hairs halfway. Out.
So I already cut that. Working my way back. Okay, now we're going to go half an inch the other direction from the middle.
Ow. Stop pulling my hair out.
So again, you're just working your way to the back. At this point, I like to check this whole middle section that I just cut for accuracy. So stand behind them, pull it up, and even it out. It won't be even, that's okay, this is why we're doing this. Okay, so we have our middle section done. Now we're gonna go just to the right of that. And again, I'm gonna be careful with this here. I'm gonna cut a little bit off of his cowlick, but not much, because it stands right up.
That was our duck.
And we're using this middle section for a guide. So you can see here, we have this cut to where we want it. Now we're just matching all of the rest of this to that. So just like that. I'm gonna do that around the rest of the head.
I noticed you switched from like vertical to horizontal. Does that matter?
Yeah, I would just do it how I did. Just do your 3 rows vertically and then start from behind and go horizontal.
Gotcha.
So just taking that down the side further, again using the same guide that you've already cut for yourself when it comes to the length. And we're going to take that all the way back to the back middle of the head. And then this last section here is going to be blending where we cut we've buzzed it on the sides here up to our length. So you're just gonna kind of go right in the middle of that and cut whatever's sticking out there. Again, this will just help the blending process later. You don't have to do this. You can rely more on your clippers to fade this, but I like to cut as much off as I can with my scissors first. Do that to the back of the head. You'll quickly be able to see if it's blended or not, or if you have some larger kind of chunky looking spots, you can cut those again. Okay, now we're gonna do the exact same side, or the exact same thing to the other side of the hair. So again, using the guide, there's the guide right there. Cut everything else off to match that. And just working our way down. And then because I'm right-handed, I think it's easier to go this direction for me for this last part. Just laying my hand right on his head for stability. Let's see when I hear. So now we're gonna kind of fix the Lloyd Christmas things. So what you want to do is pull them up, and what you don't want to do is cut off this bottom. There's a hair there. This bottom length right here, because that's the length that you already set for yourself. You want to cut the things behind it to blend it in, and that will get rid of that harsh line that you cut. Yeah, it's really tricky with cowlicks. Sometimes you have to let those dry and kind of see where it falls to see where you want to cut it. But now what we're going to do, we're done with getting the length off. We're just going to double check our work and make sure that it's at least relatively even. Just if you see any longer points, just cut them off. So far, so good. It's a little one. You can kind of just see too, like if you comb back, you'll see if there's some longer points that stick out. Like there's a little one right there I want to get. And just look from the front, see how everything's looking. This little long piece right here. Look up for. And still, so this, you can see that we've taken away the Lloyd Christmas, but we still have a little one right here. So I'm just gonna do that same thing to this point again. Okay. Now for the fading. This is the hardest and scariest part.
What do you think, Gray?
Take your guard off your clippers so you can get all the loose hair out of there. And then with my wide end of the comb, I'm going to use that as my fading guide here. So the goal here is just again to blend the short to the long. When you're going through, you're just going to comb and you'll see all this hair sticking out. That's what you want, that middle part, you want that to be gone. And I would suggest doing it in little pieces versus just going and taking that whole thing off. I like to just kind of, I don't know what you call that motion, but it's just a safer way to get that hair off rather than taking it off in one big chunk and risking putting a big hole in the haircut. And then depending on what kind of haircut you're doing, how short, your comb may be right against the scalp. Mine is not. I'm pulling it out just a little bit. Try not to let them move their head because that'll affect what you're doing here.
But you want it to be parallel to the scalp?
Yes, Keith. Um, yeah, try not to, when you're doing this, like don't come out like this because that will give you kind of a mushroom shaped haircut. It will kind of go out like this. So try to keep it straighter. You can go back over a section a couple times until you like how it's looking. Get rid of any like thicker spots you're seeing. You turn to the side, bud. We're just going to work our way around the head. Do this everywhere. You want the hair to be dry for this. If it's wet still, either blow dry it or just wait a couple minutes because it will clump together and it makes it really hard to fade. And turn again. It's hard in this garage, so it's dark back there, so I can't, really, the better lighting you have to do this, the easier it will be to see what you're doing. Great, I'm going to have you turn around and face the refrigerator. Thank you. Almost there. And just look at it from the front and make sure that you don't have any like weird things sticking out, or if it's not, like I said, mushrooming out, or any weird bald spots.
Looks good to me.
Okay, so now we're going to take if you have a little pair of trimmers, that would be ideal for around the ears and neckline. But if not, you can certainly use your larger clippers that you did before. So have them put their head down. I'm gonna switch these on my tray. And for Gray, I like to do a square line, so I'm going to do a straight line here. You can see he has a really crazy neckline. He has this weird calyx that grows down here. But I'm going to cut that off and do a square shape. Some men and boys like a round, but we're going with square. Don't take this too high. If you need to, start lower and work your way up if that makes you feel better. Up a little bit. I'm gonna make a nice straight line here. And on this side, excuse me. And get any hair that goes further down on their neck. Now because Gray has calyx that grow different directions here, you can see if I pull this down, all this long hair the clippers didn't get, so I'm going to pull that out so it sticks out and then just shave it off. Kind of how you did your fading. Okay, so put your head back up. Now we're gonna do around the ears. So again, you don't want to take these too short because that looks a little odd. So if you need to start lower and, you know, just take off little bits at a time, you can. Or if you know where you like it, you can just go in for that. And then I like to, because you see it's a little bit thick and heavy, I like to essentially do what we did with the fading and thin out the sideburns a little bit. And while you're doing this, you can check for any long hairs that the clippers missed. Then for going around the ear, you want to comb the hair down so it's all sticking straight down, and then just follow around the ear and pull it down and do the same around the back side of the ear. You want to match this line that you created here to the line around the ear. Again, cut any long hairs you see. This is a common area for the clipper to leave some long hairs. He has the weirdest hair. It goes in different directions. Okay, same on the other side. Oh boy. Just left my clippers off. Pull your head. There you go. And I use my third finger as my kind of safety guide. So I'm not just kind of coming in hot here. I use this for some stability. Again, get these long ones around the ear that the clipper did not. Okay, then at the end, just do a little walk around and make sure you don't see any parts you don't like. Make sure you don't see any thick parts in your fade. If so, just clip those again. But you should be pretty good at this point. So, what do you think, Gray?
I can't see.
Oh, I love it.
Give us a thumbs up.
Okay. Thanks for watching.